Hey, hi, hey, hello, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you're doing well. And it's time for another edition of the weekly track roundup, my thoughts, my feelings, my opinions on what I thought were the best and worst tracks of the week. We're going to list them all down below in the description box so you can check them out for yourself, along with our Turntable Lab link. We get kickback from that. As usual, our Patreon page, it supports us. You get some awesome bonus monthly content when you sign up for a tier over there, access to our Discord community as well, and our newsletter. Sign up for that newsletter. Don't miss a single piece of content that we do via that newsletter. Link down below. All right, and also a shout out to longtime editor, for the Needle Drop, Jeremy, a.k.a. Lit Major. He has come out with his own record. It's linked down below, too, if you want to check it out for yourself. It's a neat little singer-songwriter LP with a lot of interesting collaborations across the album as well. Try it out. Give it a listen. Ba-bam! Okay, worst tracks of the week. We have a handful. Let's see. Starting off with this new Xenia Rubinos track, which I haven't been crazy about the recent cycle of teasers for this new album, but I just can't stay silent on the sound of this new track. The vocals are so overbearing, and the effects on the vocals are just grating. I mean, I dig the eccentricity. The heart is most certainly there, but I just feel like the way this new stuff is sounding is just not pleasurable at all. And I get that it might be trying to shoot for something kind of experimental and eclectic, but I just don't feel like that's panning out all that much on these new cuts. Did my best is the title. We have a couple new ones from Imagine Dragons. Cutthroat is one of them, which I feel like is a pretty average song for the band. I mean, not quite as overblown as anything on their last LP, but again, a pretty average song for them. But did I say Cutthroat? I meant to say Follow You. Follow You is the average track. Cutthroat is the wild out there experimental song for the band, where there's a lot of just very hard-hitting drums, screamed vocals, while I wouldn't exactly say it's out there in the grander scheme of things. It's definitely unexpected for Imagine Dragons. I mean, honestly, whatever your opinions of the band may be, I would recommend checking out at least that track, because it's kind of a surprise. And I don't know if you remove the context of just not liking Imagine Dragons in general from your mind, you might actually enjoy the track a little bit. We'll see. And we have a new one from Gwen Stefani, Slow Clap, which I was a little taken aback by because, beat-wise and verse-wise, it sounded almost like, a throwback to almost like the Holla Back Girl days. It seemed like she was almost going for like another Pharrell-type banger, that sort of thing. But the chorus is awful. One of the worst choruses I've heard this year. This is a ridiculous chorus. Makes no sense. Total flop of a chorus, awkward transition, bad lyricism, and slow clap. It just doesn't make any sense. It's just an awful hook. All right, and we have a new one here from 070 Be Heard and 070 Shake Said, which I was hoping I was going to like this track more than I did, considering how much potential I saw in 070 Shake's recent stuff. And, of course, I want to hear things coming out of this camp that are good. And I like the cold, somewhat futuristic vibe, but geez, the vocals are off and kind of trail off into nowhere. The rap verse trails off into nowhere. I feel like the track is just really missing a compelling tune at its core, and just not much in terms of a tight structure either. Just sort of seems like it doesn't exactly know when to finish certain ideas off, or when certain ideas are sort of done and we can kind of transition into the next thing. All right, let's move on to the tracks that I thought were okay, not terrible, but certainly worth pointing out this week. New cover from Tkay Maidza of the classic Pixies song, Where Is My Mind? The vocals are killer. The instrumental, though, is a little off. That certainly leaves a lot to be desired, but hey, it's one of the hardest to cover songs in the world. Most covers of this track are total trash. So the fact that this one is at least listenable to me is a W. We have a new one from Rod Wave, Street Runner. I do like the melodic vocals and piano passages on this one, but honestly, content-wise and also, I guess, beat-wise, it's a pretty average mellow trap cut. We've got a new one from Paysage d'Hiver. It's a very gristling, I suppose, I want to say gristled and deafening, bright and harsh black metal cut. Just raging and blizzard-like guitars on this one. Straightforward riffs as well. Not quite as ambient or as immersive as some of the project's most legendary stuff, but, you know, maybe this more direct approach will please some fans. We have a new one from NF featuring Hopsin. It's titled Lost. It's got some grand orchestral instrumentation laced into it. I don't really mind the themes of the track of feeling lost in life. And I don't know. I mean, as much as some elements of it do sound a lot like Eminem, it sort of stops short of sounding like angry, constipated Eminem. It's not that bad. You know, considering how I haven't really been that much into NF stuff in the past, I expected to dislike this a lot more than I did, but you know, it's okay. I understand this type of rap is not for everybody, and for a lot of the time, it's not even really for me. But I don't think this is too bad of a cut in that vein. All right, we have a new one from MGK and Corpse, a.k.a. Corpse Husband. Did a review of this one over on the Fantano channel. It's a very distorted, edgy, dark, punk, hip-hop banger with subtly industrial undertones. The lyrics are kind of cringe, but MGK does legitimately sound a little vicious on the track, and Corpse Husband sounds like Corpse Husband, I guess. We've got a new one from Laura Less, one half of 100 gecs, 50 gecs, with a solo cut over here. Very deafening, bright, blistering lead vocals that almost have like an Alice Glass kind of vibe through multiple portions of the track, which I thought were pretty cool. Liked the verses as well on the cut. I just think instrumentally it left a lot to be desired. The drums, the synths were all very dry and very plain. We've got a new one from KSI, who is continuing to let his ambitions be shown with YUNGBLUD and Polo G on the same track. And believe it or not, stylistically, this song over here is like an 80s pop throwback with a groovy drum bass combo. It's totally out there. Didn't really expect these three guys, any of them, to be on a song that sounds like this, a song of this style. Polo G's vocals are actually quite passionate and compelling. YUNGBLUD too. KSI's singing is the weakest of the bunch, but it does sound better than his vocals on his last LP. It's got a tight song structure to it as well, even if some of the sections of the track are kind of crashing into each other. It's not that bad of a track, though. It's not that bad of a track. Certainly showing some growth for KSI. All right, we have a new one over here. Titled Pup from Kenny Mason, and it's got a very odd mix to it. Very odd mix. Very experimental, skeletal, but dark and kind of rough around the edges. It's not a perfect track. It's flawed. It's a little, I guess, awkward in some points, but I like that he's trying to do something different. He is definitely trying to do something different. He's taking a risk, and I feel like, I don't know, if he keeps staying this hungry and adventurous and willing to take risks, maybe the next batch of tracks of this style, of this flavor will be better. We'll see. All right, we have a new one from Jorja Smith, Addicted. It's not a bad track. It's very low key. It's got a nice, guitar, bass, drum combo. Vocals are easygoing. It just doesn't really have a strong tune to it. In a way, it kind of reminds me of something that could have been on like that recent Leanne La Havas record, but if it were more forgettable, if the vocals weren't as compelling or the instrumentation wasn't quite as groovy. There were even some passages in the instrumental that reminded me a little bit of Radiohead, oddly enough, but I don't know. There are a lot of excited Jorja Smith fans that are digging the track, and rightfully so. It's not a bad track by any means. It just didn't really go as hard as I had hoped it would. All right, we have a new one from Guapdad over here, Shiwana, featuring P. Low. Very stripped back, very skeletal, very simple, whisper quiet, A few decent one-liners in there. I like Guapdad's personality and his willing to, show his sense of humor on his cuts. But instrumental and song overall just felt very bland. Felt like if you're going to go in this direction where you're kind of stripping it back like, I don't know, like an old school Yin Yang Twins track or a, Neptune's track, like the songs got to have, not songs, but the sounds that you're choosing to work with have to have a little bit more flavor than this. All right, we have another one from Danny Elfman. This one over here featuring lots of metal riffs, but sort of buried vocals and awkward lyrics. Kick Me is the title. Maybe this is my least favorite of his recent string of teasers so far, but it's still relatively interesting. All right, we've got a new one from Crumb over here. Very warm, dreamy pop music for the Bandcamp crowd. It's titled Trophy. It's not too bad. We've got a new one from Brent Faiyaz, which, in my opinion, this one is a bit of a step down from that single he recently had with Tyler, the Creator. The vocal performance was most definitely not all the way there. Some lines and some notes were not hit quite as clearly as I think they could have been. Instrumental was pretty forgettable as well, and not the strongest tune in the batch either. I was hoping for something, in terms of like a blowout on this new record, but I'm starting to have some questions given just how, underwhelming this new track is. All right, we have another one from Benny the Butcher, Harry Fraud Production, Plugs I Met 2. It's coming soon. Thanksgiving is the title of this track, and it's very clean trap music with decent verses from Benny. Kind of reminded me of a lot of cuts off of his recent commercial album, which, also to me didn't quite live up to the grime and the gruffness that Griselda Records is often known for. And while the lyricism and the personality for Benny vocally is most certainly there, I feel like it's, lost a bit of its, dark, it's lost a bit of its dark street luster, I suppose, with tracks that feature production like this. All right, let's move on to the tracks that were my favorites for this week. The best tracks of the week were, in my opinion, Ba-Bam, new one from Young Skrrt, Poppin' Pokemon, rather. It's a bit of a fun internet banger. Try it out. Lyrical shout out to yours truly on it, too. We've got a new one here also from Vegyn. It is a groovy house banger. Bedroom Aesthetics. Cool little slow down breakdown on the back end. Lots of personality on the wailing synths as well. Looking forward to the new EP. We've got a new one from Idols, because apparently Sharon Van Etten is coming out with a covers, album of her classic album from way back. And Idols is going to be one of the artists doing a cover of the various songs on this record. And they decided to cover one of my favorite tracks off the LP, Peace Signs. I think it's actually kind of, withstood the test of time and has proven itself to be one of her better standout tracks over the years. And Idols do a very shouty, in your face and loud and proud cover of it that I think goes over very well. Is this song for everybody, given that it's a cover and given that it's Idols? No, but if you do enjoy this cut from the Sharon Van Etten back catalog, I think you'll like this version quite a bit. We also have a new one here from Pussy Riot, which is almost like a Grimes-inspired pop-punk track. It's titled Panic Attack. Like it quite a bit. It's very peppy, very catchy. And also, McCartney reimagined, rather. He's invited on a bunch of artists to partake in like versions of tracks from his latest LP. This one featuring Dominic Fike is a really good one. I think Dominic actually kills it on the vocal side. The Kiss of Venus is the title of the track. Give it a try. We have one from More Kismet over here, which is a producer that I'm just getting familiar with. They have a new EP out, which is quite good, and the song on the back end of it, Rumor, is quite the banger. Awesome beats and bass on this one, cool little vocal passages as well. Kind of reminds me of a cross between some old Flume and I suppose like some Igloo Ghost as well. Give it a try. All right, we also have a Luna Lee, multi-instrumentalist, producer and songwriter extraordinaire. Has a new song out titled Cherry Pit, new record on the way. Starts off very beachy and very humble, low-key, but turns quite psychedelic and lush by the end of the track. And it's just a great cut all around. Give it a listen. All All right, we have a Lucy Dacus. Thumbs is the title of this song over here, which I guess has been a fan favorite on the live circuit for a while. And it's a very stripped back synth and vocal cut with some explicitly violent lyrics and very in-your-face storytelling. And I like it quite a bit. It's very good. It's a different kind of experience within Lucy's music and, you know, most singer-songwriter music that's getting put out today. So give it a try. All right, we also have one from Everything, Everything, Supernormal, a track that to me reads almost like sonically a leftover from their recent LP. Good chorus on it, exciting guitars laced throughout the track. It's not quite as experimental as my favorite songs from the band, but it's certainly something, and I think better than, you know, at least a third or half of the material off their recent LP, so give it a shot. All right, guys, that has been the weekly track roundup. Hopefully you got some good recommendations out of this video. Again, linked all down below if you want to check them out for yourself. And you're the best. Love ya. Anthony Fantano, tracks forever.